Billin of Town Murph.
Top Billin villains.
Yo, Top Billin. I saw this video of your man Tariq Woolen walking in with Dennis Rodman Jr. himself, DK Metcalf, and I was reminded how much of a freak that man is, seeing him shoulder to shoulder with a guy like DK Metcalf. Think about that, man. 6'4" guy like that in 2022, his rookie season, he looked like the next biggest thing in the NFL. It was a year that should have culminated in him being Rookie of the Year, if we're being honest about it. But I digress from that. 2023, no sirree, Bob. That man looked the complete opposite, right? He looked like somebody who maybe was a rotational player. And a lot of that had to do with what was going on inside of his head. And of course, a lot of it having to do with the lack of physicality. And that's saying a lot because the Seahawks are definitely known for being a physical team over the years. But by all accounts, this man with a new coaching staff and a fresh start is taking full advantage of it. But before I get in a little bit more of that, man, make sure that you're liking the content. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. And most importantly, make sure that you're sharing the content because sharing is caring. And if you dig the content, man, make sure that you contribute to the movement however you see so, my good people. Now, last season, it was way too much of this from your man Tariq Woolen. As we see here, he's pretty much in FEMA mode for no apparent reason. Way too grabby, way too handsy, way too not trusting of his wonderful feet and his incredible makeup speed and size. As we see him with Tutu Atwell, he shoots the correct jam on this, right? While kind of falling off the cliff there, just gauging as a rangefinder. He's in range and he still has to hold. And then he always has that look like a bad little kid, like, I ain't do it, when he know damn well that he did do it. Now, this is even more egregious than I thought. Look at this. He's actually in good position, but then he takes himself out of position from a technique standpoint by not locating and then putting two hands on the man and drawing himself a pass interference. One of many. This guy was completely in his head when we know he's better than that. He's one of the most talented in the league, period. But to be real with you, it was a lot about plays like this as well. Inside zone, he's the force player, and then bang, gets fertilized. Plays like that made me wonder if he had a little, in him, you know what I'm saying, for lack of a better expression. As we see here, man, Najee Harris, right, a decently physical player, right, definitely has the size, right, attacking that inside zone, bouncing it like the finesse player that he is. Your force/contain player is in great position to change elevation in his pads and get him down. And as we see here, he's in mid-flight to Zombie Town. How you go to Zombie Town? As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do it. Would you send me to Zombie Town? Could you send me to Zombie Town? So obviously he was asleep, and then he woke up when his head hit the turf, and then he went back to sleep, and then he woke up obviously as a zombie. And it's never recommended to play as a zombie. Obviously that 2023 Tariq Woolen year was a lot different from that 2022 Tariq Woolen year. So for all intents and purposes, no disrespect to my man Tariq Woolen, I would like to refer to him as Tariq Woolen because that man was so fun to watch and cover, and he was able to do things like this, and he was making it look easy. Don't get me wrong, he still had this gem of a play on a pitch back to the quarterback. They tried to fool him, and of course he has that makeup speed, and he undercuts a poorly thrown ball by Matthew Stafford and does his thing there. Great play and great play recognition by him. Great job of guys like Poona Ford getting there as well, but he got up for the downstroke. That reminded me of this one. This encapsulated his rookie year. Play action, the safeties bit on it hard. No diddy. Look at the makeup speed, and Jakob, he got up for the downstroke. So nice you have to see it twice. Slide protection, Patrick Mahomes on the launch, and look who flashes on. Flash himself. To highlight what I was talking about at the beginning, on this website called 12th Man Rising. It says, one Seahawks defender sure looks like he has his mojo back in camp. And they talk about, of course, your man Woolen. And they were talking about some exchange that he had with a fan. I actually saw this particular exchange. And it looks like this fan really goes hard, always talking about Tariq Woolen, at least since this particular one. I believe she's a 49ers fan. So, and he talked about his phobia of tackling. Man, a phobia of tackling, right? It did look like he had a phobia of tackling last year, but we knew that to not be the case. His rookie campaign, I didn't really see that, right? So maybe he wasn't the best tackler, but he looked like a ready, willing, and able tackler at the very least. So they talked about it was a 7.4% rate or something like that, and it doubled last year to 14.5%. In different stuff like that, man. So to me, that's his major issue. The coverage, I saw some bad stuff in coverage, but it was mostly, like I said before, that man not trusting his feet. You play cornerback with your feet. You don't play it with your hands. You can't feel your way through a route. You have to navigate your way through a route by proper footwork. There's no other way around it. Proper footwork. You got to sit there, nail and drill that. And that man is very, very good on vertical bell situations. I actually very much like him as one of the better zone corners, despite him having a man skill set. So he's that versatile, but I feel like he's a little bit better in zone where he can get a peek on the quarterback and be able to shuffle back to the sideline and stay on top of routes like that. Make no mistake about it, he can play some man defense as well. So I want to see him get better with that, and that comes through not feeling your way through a route, even though it is close quarters coverage or press man coverage, however you want to label that. Usually not press, but definitely close quarters coverage. So where you're not looking at the quarterback. So that man, and then of course his homeboy Devin Witherspoon, that could be the top duo in the league, depending on how things go, because both of those guys are that talented. So we shall see how that works out. Definitely in the future. I'm not talking about right now as being the top. They both have a lot to prove, in my opinion. Especially moving into a new defense. But as far as talent goes, man, yeah, both of those guys together, that could definitely set the tone for the Seahawks secondary. But obviously it starts up front. So Seattle definitely has that on lock as well, or on their way to having that on lock. So let me know what you think about your man, Tariq Woolen. You want to see that Tariq Woolen, or do you want to see that Riq Woolen? Let me know. But as always, man, much love to everybody out there. It's your boy Jersey Murph. Checking in and tapping in. Make sure you tap in as well. Tip your waiter, because you know I be serving that hibachi. And as always, big salutes. Strike the band.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.